Hi everyone, it's Christy. Welcome back. I'm beginning a new series for February called Frugal February. It's actually a little bit of a tongue twister. But I thought I'd start off with how to use some packaging in your junk journaling or crafting. And you have an endless supply of cardstock because all of a box is, whether it's a cereal box, a cracker box, pancakes, frozen food, whatever. You have an endless supply of craft supplies here. I basically don't, the only time I use plain white store-bought cardstock is when I'm going to run it through the printer. Anything else, I use packaging for the cardstock. If I'm going to cover it with anything, it doesn't matter what it looks like, right? So let's just start with some basic deconstruction. Sorry, that might be loud in the microphone. But if you just deconstruct the box, I'm just tearing it where the glue strip is. And that tore a little bit, but that's okay. And now you have a nice open space. Now what I used to do is I just fold it over one way or the other. Pick one of the seams and fold it in half, okay? And then I'm just going to put it under my guillotine and line it up just above the seam and cut off the bottom flaps. Then I'm going to turn it over and cut off the top flaps. And some of that may still be usable because, you know, the side strips and stuff, great for bookmarks, tags, all kinds of things. Okay, so now we have this. So I'm just going to trim off that and trim off this. Now, lots of times I have made many journals just by taking this portion of a box. You have a built-in spine and a front and a cover, you know, front and back cover. So you can just use this as the foundation of a journal, and we will do that here coming up. So you can save it like that, but for this one I think I'm going to just go ahead and cut these flaps off. What else do I have that's salvageable here? I can salvage a number of things here, but I'll just I'll set those aside for now. But just know that you can take the extra panels and make them into other things. And because that just has the seam, I want to just cut the seams off. Okay, so like I said, here's a great example. This would make a great bookmark, or, you know, tags, pocket, use it for, you know, glue it inside in a pocket, a belly band. So you look at that, just cover it with a book page and voila. Okay, let's do this one next. Now you have to be careful with the frozen food packages because much of the frozen food has a waxy, not all of it, but some of the frozen food things I don't reuse because they have a waxy covering and the glue doesn't want to stick to the waxy covering. This particular brand doesn't seem to use a waxy covering. It seems to be fine. So just pay attention, you know, if you know what I mean, waxy, like a milk carton is waxy. You know, sometimes the frozen foods have a waxy covering. And in that case, glue doesn't stick as well. Not that you couldn't find other ways to use it of some sort, but, you know, if you wanted to use it as a protective surface while you're painting something, you can still use it in that kind of way. And then discard it after using it as like to catch your splatters and stuff while you're painting, for instance. Okay, so deconstructed that one. I'm going to do the same thing. Just cut off some flaps. Okay, and then sorry, I'm trying not to talk while I cut because I realize that the cutting sound can be loud. And just wanted to show you another thing to do with your packaging is to look at what's on the packaging. And sometimes I will cut out things like this part here that says tastes ridiculously good. I might cut that out and just plop it down on a page or use it as a focal point on some other artwork. Show your mouth a good time. Even, you know, if you have a logo that you like, or maybe you liked this foodie fork, you know. I'm kind of collecting some things that I want to make a foodie type journal one of these days. I'll set those aside because there's some parts in there I can salvage. But yeah, one of these days I'm going to put together kind of a foodie journal. I haven't decided if it's going to be a recipe book or if it's going to be just kind of a fun favorite foods type of journal. Where is there? It is. I always look inside and then I can see where's the seam where it's glued together. All right. And then again, the same thing. After I cut this one, we will actually make something. So bear with me, and then we'll get to putting this stuff to use. You never lack craft supplies. That's one of the things I fell in love with junk journaling, because I just not the kind of person that likes to buy a lot of craft supplies. I don't have access. My nearest craft store is 3 hours away. And I just love the idea of being able to recycle and reuse things that would otherwise be garbage anyway. Oh, I was going to leave this one whole and make a journal out of it, but that's okay. I have more boxes. Okay. Yeah, see, there's another one. Those spines make great bookmarks. And see, like this thing right there, it says makers wanted. And it's like, oh, that would be fun to just put that little phrase on a page of a junk journal. Okay, so let's do... I'm going to have us make together a journal board, which is, you know, when your journal is lumpy, it's got, you know, you put embellishments in there and the pages underneath where you're going to write are lumpy. Then you have a firm surface. You can slide this under your page and write. I'll demonstrate that in a minute when we get there. So for that, I like to, for the size of journals I typically make, I'm going to make this one 5 by 7. So I'm just trimming this to an even number. Actually, that is, darn, that's pretty close. All right, 5 by 7. Now I'm going to take this out of the way. And grab something else here real quick. Okay, so like here's the journal we worked on recently, and I've got things clipped in and all kinds of lumpy things. So if I was going to write on a page and I didn't want to have this big paperclip thing right underneath it, then I could just put in a journal card, a journal board, I mean, and now I've got a nice solid surface to be able to write on. But we're going to decorate this up, and I'll show you how. It's really easy. Get this little garbage out of the way. Which one did I measure? I think this one was the one I actually measured. Let me slop it on my machine here real quick and see. Yeah, okay. So, what we're going to do, this is a book page, just out of a commentary. And you just need one that's a a little bigger than what you're going to work with. So I have maybe a 1/2 inch on either side, a little bit more on the top and bottom. And my glue stick. Glue stick is fine for this. It'll be plenty to hold it down. And so I'm going to take the solid side and glue it to this because I don't want the printing of this to show through. So the solid side is going to get glued down. It's not going to matter a whole lot, especially if you're working with a thicker book page, but this is a thin page, like a Bible page, you know. And you don't have to cover this completely perfectly because it's just to hold it in place. And then I'm just going to eyeball center there, put that down. Okay. And this is where I'm just going to use this catalog for giving some gluey space in the background. Actually, that's all I need is one page. So now I'm just going to put globs of glue in each corner. And we're going to fold, make sure I'm still in frame. I could come down a little bit so you can see better maybe. Just fold the corners in. Doesn't have to be, don't get too scientific about it. It doesn't have to be exactly even because it's not really going to show. Alright, so now, you see that? You have the corners folded in, it looks like that. Now we're just going to glue the extended book page and fold those in. So, I'll try to start up here. And then I'm going to just use the book page, or the cardstock itself as a sharp edge to just fold it over on itself. And that gives you a nice sharp crease there. So we'll do the same on the other end. And it doesn't matter whether you use the top side, you know, which order you do the 4 sides in. I think I tend to usually do the top and bottom, the short sides, and then I do the long side. It's getting a little bit gluey, so I'm going to just fold it over. Okay. And this part, the main thing is you just want to make sure you get your glue all the way out to the edge, because the edge is what's going to actually hold it down. And again. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Christy, you still got a great big spot in the middle there that's not covered up. Yep, that's right. And I forgot to get my other glue turned upside down. Okay. So I have printed out, this is where a case where I used real cardstock that I bought from a store because I ran it through my printer, and I found just a few pictures that I liked, printed them out. Just to give you the size, I printed them 2 per page. So if you like open up Microsoft Word, turn it into landscape, put it in 2 columns, and then drop 2 pictures in there. These would be about, you know, 2 per page. Well, this that we cut out from the cracker box was 4 by 7 or 5 by 7, so these are a little bit smaller. They're like 4.5 by 6 or something like that. So, that one's a little too small, so we're gonna go with one of these big girls. I like her. We're gonna go with her. Okay, now you have a couple decisions to make, and one is whether you want to ink anything up. If you want to ink it, now is a good time. And the other thing I want to do is get my corner chomper. This is the Crocodile Corner Chomper by We Are Memory Keepers, and there's other corner chompers out there. This is just the one I have. So I'm gonna round the corners Perfect. Let's go back here. Okay, and now I'm trying to decide what color. I might just use black. Okay, sorry, I had to grab a couple inky things. I'm gonna maybe use the combination of brown and black. And first I'm gonna just brown this up a little bit around the edges. Just to knock back the stark white a little bit, because this page is particularly very white. So I just think that she'll look a little bit more in a more natural setting if I make this match the color, her colors a little bit. And I tend to like to ink up these corners a little bit, because where you have folded the corner together, that'll really catch the ink, and so I just like to accent that a little bit more. Much of the rest of this will be hidden underneath the picture that we're going to glue on, so I don't have to ink it up too thoroughly. I'm just going to darken it a little bit, because like I said, I wanted to knock back that stark white, and see already that looks a little bit more natural than having her against the stark white, you know. So yeah, see the difference? Yeah. So, and we could do that with the front. It doesn't really matter. Maybe I will real quick. Just ink around the edge. Some people like to ink, some don't. I'm probably kind of 50-50. I like to ink, but kind of just depends what I'm working on and what look I'm going after. I'm not really the antique-y type, you know. I do vibrant colors a little bit more than I do just the aged look. But for this particular one, I think she lends herself to kind of an aged look. I debated on going with some greens, but I thought the green might be overpowering, so stick with some neutrals. And now I'm going to just add some black to kind of accent it a little bit more. Make the edge really kind of pop and stand out like a picture frame, kind of. And again on this side. Alrighty, almost there. And just darken the corners again a little bit. Let's see if I want to add a little bit in the corners here. I'm going to put a little bit more brown up on the top. It looks like I didn't get that quite as dark as I did the other sides. I'm just kind of looking at it and evening out the color tones there. So there you go. And then this side she's going to cover. Let me cap these up and get that out of the way. Okay, so now for her, you could use, for her, she's a little bit heavier than just paper. You know, we just used the glue stick with this. You could probably use a glue stick. You could use a white wet glue. I'm just going to use my Fabrifix glue because it's here and because I'm trying to finish off this bottle. And it's kind of got glue stuck in the nozzle. Let me clear off the... I've been turning it upside down And sometimes that makes the glue leak out and into the lid a little bit more. Okay, come on, are you gonna help? Are you gonna work with me today? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna let that drain out a little bit. And I just realized I should ink around her a little bit before I glue her down. Getting ahead of myself. Almost forgot to ink the poor girl. She'd have been naked. Can't have her running around naked without any ink on her edges. Poor thing. I just love her eyes. I like this one. These were images that were like artificial intelligence, you know, the AI graphic software type stuff. So, yeah. And I see my glue is starting to come out, so that's good. Okay, I'm going to sit down a little bit because I need to squeeze with 2 hands. And hopefully that's not plugged up in there. Is that... Okay. It's coming out a little bit. I might need to stick a pin down in the nozzle. It might be kind of... Okay. Well, this is coming out enough that I can, I think, make it work. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick switcheroo here. I have a brand new bottle, which I haven't opened yet, and so let me just take the tab out. This one, we won't have to wait so long for this one. Oh, and now look at that. It got jealous. It knew I was going to switch to something else, and then it decided to come out. Look at that. Well, I'm not going to fight with that one on camera. I'll figure that out off camera. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. That's the way it's supposed to come out. I kind of make circles in the corners just to give it a little bit more. And then I just look to make sure I'm getting it kind of close to the edge. Okay. Now, I'm just visually centering it. I can see that there's 3 lines of text above and 3 lines of text below. That's pretty good for helping you line it up. And I'm just using my glass bottle as a brayer. And had some glue come out on the edge. If you grab that silicone glue while it's still wet, you can just roll it off. It's like rubber. You know, you old enough to remember rubber cement? I'm old enough to remember rubber cement. We used to play with the rubber cement and roll it into rubber balls. There we go. Yep, I should all cleaned up. A little bit more up here. Yeah, if you have overage with the silicone glue, just rub it with your finger. Hopefully your finger's clean. They're clean enough, at least. There. Perfect. A little bit more. Yeah, you can see how that just glues. Let me cap up my glues here real quick. But that is how to make a simple journal board. And where it is, there it is. So, like I said, you know, you got a lumpy surface underneath. You need to be writing on, let me find a page that actually would work. I want to be writing on this page, but I don't want all that lumpy stuff underneath, so just lay this down, and then I have a hard, smooth surface underneath. So that's what a journal board will do for you. And pretty, very simple, uses up stock, you know, things that you don't even have to pay for, you know, other than the ink, you know, glue and ink. But really quite simple and very frugal. So this is our first episode of Frugal February, and we will be carrying on in the next episode. We will begin making a journal out of one of these product boxes that I was showing you. So stay tuned. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. I love you. God bless. Bye.